in the last 2 or 3 months, it's become very apparent to me that miracles are happening all around us. Another one of the organizations that came into this meeting was one I've also known for about 20 years. It's also 23 or 4 years old. It's actually very close to where I live and work. It's actually in the Boston area. Very few people know about it. It's called Roca. It's an organization composed almost entirely of former gang members who become what they call street workers. So these are young people, boys and girls, recruited off the streets. You might say kind of managed to escape the streets. And then through extraordinary kind of processes they've developed, primarily using Native American methods. In this kind of interesting world of ours where things can connect to things all over the place, the primary mentor for the work that goes on with young Cambodians and Vietnamese and Gabonians and Puerto Ricans comes from the Tlingit tribe in the Yukon, from whom they learned what they call circle work, where whenever things are awry, whenever things are out of balance, you form a circle. And it's quite an experience. I've had it many, many times to sit down with a group like this because the young people in Roca are about half Latinos and the other half mostly Southeast Asians, Central Africans. It's a typical polyglot immigrant community you find in cities all over the world, and we find in cities in North America. As probably many of you know, we have a lot of problem in our cities. I'll just speak now as a citizen of the United States. For over a decade, it's been more likely that a young African-American man growing up in an American city will go to jail than to go to any form of tertiary education. The largest growing segment of our jail population in America are young African-American women. The United States has around 5% of the world's population and has 28% of the world's prison inmates. It's one of our dirty little secrets. It's a phenomenal business. It's a growing business. So, Roca is an example of an antidote. Today, one of the most eloquent spokespeople for Roca, and it's, again, incredible juxtaposition of histories and images, is the retired Irish cop, police chief. And I'll never forget when I first met him. I met him about 10 years ago. And his successor, who's the current Irish police chief in Chelsea, Massachusetts, by the way, this is just over the harbor from Boston. So it's literally like 3 miles from the financial district of Boston, is a totally another universe, which is typical in cities in America, right? So cheek to jowl between great wealth and financial might is extraordinary embedded poverty and hopelessness. Or as Musheshe would say, fatalism. John, the retired Irish police chief, says, I'm really grateful that fortunately in the last 10 years of my career I met Roca, because it was the first time in my life I felt I could actually do something. All my life, all I've been able to do is try to kind of arrest people, stop it after the fact. He said, now for the first time I feel like we're dealing with the sources of violence in our communities. So the meeting included that group.